I'm Sandra, along with T the Man, and happy Labor Day weekend to everybody. Well, it's been a pretty busy last 48 hours, and we really want to kind of reflect a little bit on the Queen of Soul. Queen of Soul yesterday was laid to rest. T the Man. I just, I just want to say it was overall a beautiful ceremony. What did you think?
It was a very beautiful ceremony. The fact that she had 100 pink Cadillacs, that entourage, it's a beautiful thing to see. And they weren't Mary Kay, so that what made it look so great.
You be looking for that Mary Kay, right, when you see a pink car.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was a beautiful ceremony. Also, the people that she had there, the speakers that she had. I like to point out that Al Sharpton, he really hit home because he talked about how great Aretha was, and the fact that he said, and he's just one of the many speakers that said this, that Aretha did not work for Donald Trump. She performed for Donald Trump, because she only worked for God. And I thought the way he said it, it was bullseye. It was right on.
Yeah. And it just struck me immediately when the statement came out that she worked for Donald, when Donald, Trump called himself, putting out a word, about her life that, she worked for him. It was just like, you always have to take, what should be a great moment and just kind of sully it and make it seem less than, Speaking of a lot of the speakers, I thought it was funny talking about Al Sharpton when he said that, that he had made a mistake and spelled respect incorrectly and that everybody corrected him, but that he wanted them to help let Donald Trump know what the word respect meant, and he got a real big applause for that. Yeah, and I thought also too, I don't know if it was the mayor and or the governor naming that stadium or that venue after Aretha Franklin. I think that the people really like that. That they're going to have a place that's going to, be called Aretha Franklin, and everybody who comes to that Detroit area is going to perform there.
That's a fitting tribute to her. I mean, our great heroes and icons that we're getting to where they're not going to be around much longer. Smokey's not going to be here much longer. Gladys is not going to be here much longer. Not that anybody know when we're going to go. But, time is not an indefinite thing as far as life goes. It's only an indefinite thing as far as counting it in the annals of man. So, but it's fitting that, and she deserved that because she is a queen. She's a queen, and she was recognized for her royalty as the Queen of Soul when the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth II, when she had her royal guards play for her. Play respect for her. So, I mean, those are accolades you couldn't get. Donald Trump went over there. He couldn't even get that. I mean, they held their...
Didn't nobody want to meet with him. He was late for the queen. He walked all in front of her. I mean, yeah, it was just a disaster.
I don't know if you got a chance to see Reverend Dr. Eric Michael Dyson.
Oh yeah,
listen, I need a thesaurus to keep up with him. I mean, basically, I want to say he cursed Trump out, but he did it in such a highfalutin way. Is that like I knew what he was saying, but it took me a while to process it.
I love him. He's always like on Bill Maher show and he's always on TV and just a week or so ago he had that encounter with that black Republican lady who like spoke so much that he couldn't even get a word edgewise in on the beat with Mari Elbert. So I was glad that he was able to take stage yesterday and have his time to speak and to speak so eloquently and yet put the country on the path to understanding that, Aretha Franklin, stood for the civil rights movement, and what's going on in this country is horrible, and he just take a great opportunity to use this platform for good as always. But at the same time, there were a lot of things about Aretha's funeral that really, really, touched my heart as far as the music was concerned.
Oh.
They had seen Ariana Grande sing her song, and the family invited her to come. But I want to say that Bill Clinton and Reverend Jesse Jackson sitting there behind Ariana Grande with that short dress on. I think somebody needed to tell Ariana Grande that I get it, girlfriend. They invited you, but you are in church. I'm just saying that dress could have been 3 inches longer, and it still would have been short.
Apparently, her dating what's the guy from Saturday Night Live, Pete Dawson or whatever his name is. I can't think of what it is. Davidson.
I think it's Davidson.
And he must not go to church often. The fact that you walked into that kind of church with that dress and have those two sinners, because we know they have done some adultery, and to put that kind of temptation up there in the pulpit, that's wrong. That's wrong. Even though they pray, but they were tempted. And listen, I know Louis Farrakhan is a Muslim, but he was looking at her like some pork, and I might make an exception.
Hey, but you know what? But the pastor, he looked straight ahead, but then, he had to apologize today because he kind of grabbed Ariana around the back of her, and I guess he got a little bit of her breast, and so he had to apologize.
Got a little bit of that side boob.
Yeah, got a little bit of that side boob, and so he had to apologize for that, as well as making a somewhat insensitive comment, about her name and regarding her heritage. I'm gonna tell you something. I was talking to a friend, and both of us, and you as well. We grew up Catholic, and so they were just saying that the pastor just seemed to be a mess, with how he presented people, whatever. I didn't grow up in those kind of churches, so to me he was somewhat entertaining, and I just felt like it's a long funeral, and it was okay for him to be a little light in the moment. But I think with Ariana Grande, it was a little bit inappropriate. But I want to say this, Tita Man.
Say it.
The family was an hour late for the funeral. Okay. I guess it took a long time to park all of those pink Cadillacs, straight. But really, an hour late for the festivities? I'm gonna need them.
I guess the question is,
they had 2 weeks to get this together.
Who were they waiting on?
Aretha was there.
Who was ready? Who were they waiting on? You can't wait on, because
I know she changed clothes, but I think, that last time, she was in her final clothes. I think she was in a red outfit one day, and then she was in a blue outfit the next day or something.
Yeah, I don't know what they buried her in.
Yeah.
But
I just need the family to know that you guys had 2 weeks to know what time to be there and plan ahead and get there. I also thought her niece and her grandchildren they spoke so well of her and how much they love her and they're gonna miss her.
Yeah, I should be missed by all. People who actually had intimate knowledge of her. The fact that her security team was there, Gardner, so to speak, in one last time. I thought that was a fitting tribute to them, calling them out. It was, it was like a royal wedding, and she's music royalty, and she was recognized by everybody all over the world. The fact that Bill and Hillary Clinton was there to recognize her, Gladys Knight and Judge Mathis, you can go on and on with the celebrities that were there, Clive Davis,
J Hud. Shut it down.
So it wasn't no slipshod stuff, this was truly fitting as something as if Princess Di had died. This is at that kind of level.
Yes, it was.
So, but may Aretha rest in peace, and she's gonna be that bridge over that troubled water.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have the other iconic funeral of Senator John McCain, war
Yeah.
hero,
Exactly.
captured POW,
Hmm.
came from military privilege,
Hmm.
who decided to stay in the Hanoi Hilton and didn't leave until the rest of his um, shipmates or that was there with them was able to be free too.
Hmm.
And of course, you know, President Tenderfoot never served a day in the military. He had
Okay.
bone spurs. It must have been them Brooks Brothers shoes he was wearing.
Mm.
But and I don't know if you, I know you saw it, that his daughter, Meghan McCain, she's always been outspoken like her dad. I didn't
Yeah.
agree with a lot of things that her dad did, but you respected him.
Exactly.
Because, you know, he was a straight shooter. You know, he kind of told you how he felt. Don't agree with him, but you know, that's how it was. But she called it out on the current occupant of this White House and told them that America is already great and we
Exactly.
don't need to make America great again. It
Yeah.
was great before you came, and it'll definitely be great after you leave. Now we're
Yeah.
going through a little lull with him there, but the fact that he was nowhere in town, that made it all the better for everybody else there. And when you think about the people who came, because John McCain had a state funeral fitting for a president. He had all the ex-presidents there, except for uh, George Herbert Walker Bush, because he was unable to attend. But
Did Jimmy Carter, was Jimmy there?
and Jimmy Carter, those are the two that didn't come.
Yeah.
But Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, and George W. Bush were there,
Yeah.
along with Dick Cheney and Al Gore.
Henry Kissinger was there.
Henry Kissinger was there, and I guess the
John
um,
Kelly was there. I
John
mean,
Kelly was there, Mathis was there, and in
mhm.
the far back where they needed to be was Jared and
And
Avant.
Yvonne. Yeah, they chose they, but I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people was like, really? I mean, your father stands against everything that John McCain stood for. Why are you all here? It is just, uh, they're horrible. Yeah, when you look online, you see a lot of people feeling like they didn't belong there.
Yeah.
But again, what a fitting tribute to the hero that John McCain was. You know, speaking of Meghan McCain, I think she really kind of put her heart right out there, and I think we all, you know, felt
You
everything.
know what? I had a heartfelt, you know, I emotionally felt for her loss,
I did.
hearing her speak.
Mhm.
And you know what? She didn't hold back. She didn't mince words. She laid it out there,
Yeah.
you know. And she broke down at times. She composed herself. She got back up, and she went in just like her daddy, went back into that fight. And as McCain says, I guess in the paraphrase it doesn't matter if you win or lose, it's how you go in that fight.
That's right.
And that's what they did. They
Yeah.
went in there to fight, and the message that they wanted to send to this White House was received. And I know it was, because he was tweeting up a storm, and you know what? Nobody broke away to hear what he wanted to say.
Nobody
Not
cared.
even Fox News.
Yeah. Joe Lieberman spoke.
Trader Joe.
Um,
That's
yeah.
what I call him.
Yeah.
You
You know,
know.
what a, you know, great opportunity that we that we really missed, you know, for both of them that have been on the ticket. That would have been kind of awesome if that had happened.
Well, I kind of wish it was like, you know, that they were ran like this year and won.
And you know, Sarah Palin wasn't invited either. She wasn't invited either. They're like,
Well, you know what?
you
He
know,
didn't want nobody there divisive. He didn't want that there. He wanted people to be inclusive. Hell, he made Nancy Pelosi sit next to Paul Ryan and Chuck Schumer
okay,
next to Mitch McConnell. I mean, where do you get that? You know, John McCain was calling shots from the grave.
that's
That's
right.
what it was. That's what a leader does. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the saying was, you know, John McCain had, you know, he has his league of his rivals, and Trump had his, his flock of felons. That's what it was.
He still got the
You
flock
know,
of felons.
the people that John McCain ran against, and it was a contentious campaign with him and Bush in the primary, and then he ran against Barack Obama, and I think the thing that the President Obama said was he wasn't surprised that John McCain stood up and said what he did because he knew that was in John McCain's character, and that speaks a lot to him.
Exactly. He said he's
nobody on the planet, on this earth, planet Earth, can say that Trump will ever do something as that. And not that it makes it so courageous, is that Donald Trump is incapable of doing that.
I mean, there's no matter what it is, that is the normal and decent and human and kind thing to do. I swear to God, that man every time finds a way not to do it. I mean, I bet he's sitting there, asking, is he in the ground? Yeah, can y'all bring them flags back up? He just probably can't wait. He's just so full of himself. I read an article, and I don't know if you read it, about the Donald Trump's problem with not being invited to funerals. They wrote an article on how he spoke at his own father's funeral and spoke about himself. How he spoke about all of the deals that he had done, how his father supported him doing the deals. It's just like they said that, he just got a bad record for speaking at funerals. So it was a great article, man.
I just want to say this about Donald Trump speaking at his father's funeral. You know, when George Bush was president, we all were talking about Bush got dyslexia, Bush can't read, and Bush can't talk. But tell me, when you hear George Bush, didn't he sound statesman-like when he got up there and read? And then you hear Donald Trump, supposedly from, this pedigree school of Penn, Wharton School of Business, and it's like he can't read. And he doesn't have dyslexia. So what is his problem? So somebody's an outlier, and I'm saying that he is,
Yeah, it might even be, something, I mean, there's a lot of people looking at him, of course, nobody's, actually taking a real look at him except that skeptical doctor that they had, but yeah, he might have some dementia or something. He's obviously in decline, and there's no doubt about that, his vocabulary, they said at one time.
Well, they asked Al Gore what he should do, and he said he should resign. So since he's in decline, let's have Trump resign. That should be a campaign model. Let's help Trump resign because he's in decline.
Yeah, there you go. Lee Street Beat, you heard it. Yep. Be the man. Is he in decline? You must resign. Well, we got to get up. We got to get something about Pence. Something to the effect that, yeah, we don't want you either.
Yeah, well, here's the problem with Pence. We got evil in the White House right now. We're trying to get rid of that, and it looks like it's going to be a long process, one step at a time. The thing that Trump fears the most is this, these investigations, and that the state investigators, the New York Attorney General and the Manhattan District Attorney, are looking into his family finances and his family. He can't pardon them.
And his foundation.
And they're thinking about getting that foundation and just shutting it down because it's a sham, and they know it. They take it.
They've already been ordered to shut it down, but
as a front for his campaign.
They can't close it. They have to keep it open because it's under investigation, but it can't do any activity.
Well, I'm talking about when it's all said and done. It needs to be shut down. It needs to be shut down, and the officers need to be held accountable. And hopefully, there are criminal charges because they need to, go.
Yeah, well, a lot of that money they filtered to the campaign, so there's going to be a day of reckoning for all of that stuff, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a day of reckoning, and we want that day to come quick for him. We don't want him, as a law and order man, to miss his justice that he truly, rightfully deserves.
Wow, man. So we got Labor Day weekend, and there's no telling what'll happen coming up. Apparently, with Don McGahn and Jeff Sessions both supposed to, have certain dates to leave, and Rudy Giuliani is saying that, things need to be reconciled by September 7th. And then they said, well, if it doesn't happen on September 7th, then what happened? He says, well, nothing. It's like, that's what we know. So, hopefully we can all just kind of wind down a little bit for the holiday, because these two funerals were a lot. Barack Obama spoke again, about John McCain and their relationship, how John McCain would often come to his office and they would speak, privately. I love that Joe Lieberman said that, he think that he had this is today on Saturday, so he had to walk, because he's Jewish.
Oh, that was so funny. That was so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
you know what? That shows you the true friendship. It shows you the true friendship. And Lindsey Graham can learn that he's lost a good friend, because me and you are good friends, Sandra. That doesn't mean, and I'm not going to run up there and say, well, me and Sandra stood for certain principles, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and, since I get a free pass at Trump's golf course, I'm going to go golf with my new buddy, Donald Trump. It's the antithesis of what we stand for. And I don't know how he looks himself in the mirror. He
tried to spin it yesterday by saying that he felt like in tribute to the death of John McCain, that he should work with Donald Trump. That's why he's saying he's going along with, him getting rid of Jeff Sessions. You know what? I'm disappointed in Chuck Schumer. He's just suddenly told Donald that, they'll go along and get these judges on. A lot of Democrats are upset. So there's a lot of stuff going on, man. We really need to just stay woke on all of this.
Well, I think what's happening is the Democratic Party is going through what the progressive wing is going through, the purging like the Republican Party did. The Republican Party got rid of all their moderates and brought in the Tea Party. And now the Democrat Party is knocking off so-called moderates, conservative Democrats, and bringing in more far progressive people, which this party needs. We need a side of the party that can counteract their side of the party. And we can't sit there and just lay down and talk about, well, we can do it next election. The election is now. You ain't gonna get a chance to do another election. 2020 won't matter if you don't get this done in 2018.
If we're not happy in November, it's gonna be sad. We're gonna have more and more horrible things happen.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all for right now. Can't think of anything else. Except some good barbecue. My wife is having this is her birthday weekend. We're gonna celebrate a little bit.
Happy birthday.
She got flowers, as you can see behind me over my shoulder. There's a bouquet of flowers. Some friends of ours brought. They actually flew in to see us, which we're very happy and grateful for. And plus the fact that they got flowers.
Shout out to the Donaldsons.
Yeah. It cut my cost. A neighbor across the street yesterday brought her a chocolate cake. I can't wait to get into that cake, because that cake looked good. Yeah, so we're gonna celebrate the Labor Day, and then we'll be back at the old grind again. Fighting evil, putting people out there, and I just want to say one more thing. I got a text message the other day from a young gentleman, and we've been having this discussion, and he want to know how you can tell fake news from real news. So he sends me this article that Putin has had developed a secret weapon with a 100-foot giant squid that they found under the Antarctic Ocean.
Wow.
And that that this thing could shoot whatever this venom over 100 feet and paralyze you. So
squid venom it can paralyze you?
I don't know. I don't go in the ocean, so I don't know. But I'm assuming it is true that it probably can. Why not? a snake can bite you and paralyze you. I can see it happening. But the point I'm trying to make, it came from RT News. RT News is a Russian news outlet. So, you know, you might as well start reading the Globe and the Inquirer and some of these others.
And start eating some calamari too.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do. You know, since it's working and stuff. You know,
that takes these liberal liberties with the truth and just stretch them to your imagination.
I need people to have common sense, though. You know, you telling me about some old squid that's found that's like how was it 100 yards long? How big is it? I mean, it's like. I just, you know, but like you say, you got to check out your sources. A lot of these are conspiracy theories. You got to use your common sense, but you also have to just definitely check out your sources.
And he's not the only one. You know, there's other people talking about, oh, I know this is what happened. I said, oh, where did you get it from? I got it from Facebook. Okay.
Yeah, I can't believe when they say that all these people get their news from Facebook. Dude, I get my news from like, you know, my local news, you know, I mean,
well, they don't
get it off of Facebook. Facebook just has some stories that your friends like, you know?
Yeah, right. You know, and a lot of times, sometimes the source is the Onion. You know?
The Onion.
You know? And we both have got had take a second look at the article, and I said, where'd you get that at? You said, oh, I got it, the Onion? Then one
Onion satire.
It can happen to anybody, but you know, but apparently, you know, they have a proclivity of finding stuff that, you know, that's satire, untrue, and fake news. Now that's fake news.
Yeah, but you know, the Onion will put out a story and it'll be fake, but these and in a way it's tongue in cheek. But when RT News puts out a story, it's the kind of story that make these right-wingers go take a gun and want to go shoot somebody because they think that there's kids in there that need to be, you know, they're being kidnapped and that they need to go rescue. So there's a difference,
right,
in the type of, you know, satire and or, you know, information that's out there. And like I said, some of it's mean and malicious, and it's meant for people to enrage people, and it makes them go out and do crazy things.
Yeah. Well, anyway, my sister, I hope you have a good holiday weekend. Enjoy yourself. Don't overindulge in the good food and the good drink. Stay safe and pray for all of us.
Yeah,
pray for all of us.
That's right.
Okay. So this is Lee Street Beat, and we're hoping everybody have a good week. From me, T the Man, and Sandra Tucker. Everyone have a good week. Stay safe and love one another. Till next week, this is Lee Street Beat.